Hi everyone, how are you doing? This is Amanda Ellis and today is the 3rd of August 2019. Apologies, I'm a few days late in getting this up onto YouTube. I'm assuming that I'm going to be able to get it online today. I'm actually in a hotel for another night, so trusting that their Wi-Fi is able to do the job. If not, you'll be watching this a few days later. But I'm recording it on the 3rd of August. How are you all doing? I'm feeling extremely tired, I have to be honest with you. I've been up in North Yorkshire for a few days, just visiting my dad who's in hospital, and it's a 20-minute walk there and back to the hospital, so I'm doing that a few times a day. And I don't know whether it's that or it's just the energies, but despite being away on my own, I'm feeling quite tired. So apologies if my energy isn't quite what it normally is, but I thought it's better to show up than not show up at all. So as Freddie would say, the show must go on. So what I'm going to do is pull some cards and see what comes through, okay? So we're into August. We are a few days away now from the Lion's Gate of 8/8, which is always another big gateway, another big portal, which we are asked to walk through. And I've sat down today and I've got a few decks of cards which I'm traveling with. And I'm using one actually that I haven't used for a long time, which is the 5th Tarot. I haven't brought the box with me, so I don't have the details of who made it. I haven't got the book or anything with me, I've just got the cards. But the 5th Tarot, I felt like I wanted to use this for August. It used to always be my go-to deck when I was doing my Metatron level 1 training. So I thought, okay, there must be a card in here that for whatever reason we're meant to be looking at. And I just shuffled them, and the first card that's come out off camera is the 7 of Stones, and it shows the Sphinx. Okay, it's got the Sphinx and it's got the 7 of Stones. All right, so we've got the pyramids, the Sphinx, and the element of stone, which links into the element of earth. And I thought, okay, well, yes, that fits, doesn't it, with this whole Leo energy that we're in at the moment, in July, August. I still feel we're in July energy. Why do I feel that? I'm making a video for August and I'm still talking about July. I think it's just because July was such a big month, and I actually feel as though we haven't quite gotten over it yet. Lots of changes coming in, lots of energetic shifts. Powerful moon phases, and it's as though we've landed in August, and I don't think all of us have properly had time to adjust to the new frequencies. And of course we then had a new moon, didn't we, last Thursday, which I think was a dark moon, am I right in saying that? Again, very, very powerful. It's almost as though we can't catch our breath before there is another thing to be looking at in terms of the spiritual path, potential upgrade. And I really feel that we do need to just catch our breath. And it's going to be hard to do that because it just seems to be a never-ending load of things to look at, process and heal. I'm not just talking personal stuff, I'm talking collective as well. I haven't even had a chance to sort of really dip into the crop circle energies of 2019. I've seen the crop circles that have been made, certainly in the UK. I've dipped in a little bit to the energy, but not to the degree that I would have liked to. But I think that's sort of symptomatic. It's as though there's so much going on. It's really hard to keep up with it all and maintain an equilibrium of busy life, keeping yourself fit and healthy, catching up with friends, all the rest of it. So I do feel as though we need to give ourselves some time this August for more processing and catch up. Okay, so if you're able to do that, then try to do that because it's really, really important at the moment. Let's go back to that 7 of Stones card and the Sphinx. I was led to think Okay, let's just read a little bit about the Sphinx. So I've just gone onto Wikipedia, just looking down here at my phone, and what I hadn't fully appreciated, and maybe some of you hadn't appreciated as well, is that the Sphinx has the head of a human, the haunches of a lion, and sometimes the wings of a bird. And the Egyptian Sphinx, which of course is this one because it shows the pyramids, is typically believed to be a male energy. And in addition, the Egyptian Sphinx was viewed as being benevolent, but having a ferocious strength similar to the malevolent Greek version, and both were thought of as guardians, often flanking the entrances to temples. There seems to be something about gentle strength this month, the need for that. I tried to do this video yesterday, but it wasn't coming through properly. I was a bit short of time. But one of the messages that came through was linked to being gentle with our speech, gentle with how we communicate, being sensitive to how we come across, being considerate to other people's opinions. And this is something we should always try and endeavour to do when we're a decent human being, I actually want to say, rather than just being on our spiritual path. But it almost seems to be a lost art. So there seems to be this, it's quite interesting that I'm picking it up in the energy of Leo, which is typically quite a robust, lively, energetic energy, passionate, full on. But yeah, I'm picking up the need for gentleness with it as well. And I really think it is because it's been such a roller coaster 2019 so far. And I don't think it's just me that's almost feeling like, oh, wow, there's another big wave coming. And okay, I know we'll be fine and we'll get over it. We always do. But it really is a case of going forward in a steady, flowing, gentle way with our speech, with our mannerisms, with our presence. Funny, my voice today is sounding different, probably, you might notice. And it's because last night went out with my brother and his wife, had a lovely night out. I'm staying in Leeds, I don't know whether I said that before, great city, really enjoying Leeds. It's really vibrant and young and it's brilliant. Anyway, we were in this restaurant and it was quite noisy and I was actually having to really shout to make myself heard. It was fine, we had a few drinks inside of us, but today I've woken up and I'm just feeling quite hoarse. My voice is not used to having to shout in that way. But in a way, that's the message. It's almost like less is more. Less is more this month. In a month which usually asks us to do it bigger and to do more. I'm actually wanting to say the opposite piece of advice. So I have no idea what other people are saying out there. I haven't looked at other people's videos for August. But I'm really wanting to slow us down a bit and to add in the energy of gentleness and less, okay? Let's ask Metatron about this card then, the Seven of Stones, Vision. Okay, so it is the card of vision. Where are we going? What are we seeking? I'm also hearing who are we looking towards as our role models. It feels as though there are plenty of people out there in our communities and in our wider world that are visible and that we see because sometimes they have shouted the loudest, you know. They have been the most ambitious, but not necessarily in a particularly ethical way. That whole thing about climbing up the greasy pole, you know. So I feel as though we're being asked to look at our own lives and seek out gentleness. I'm really still feeling the energy of gentleness. That the world needs that. I was in a crystal shop yesterday. Of course I was. You know, I found the brilliant crystal shop in Leeds. I wish I'd bought it actually. I might go back today and buy it. But there was a card which basically says what I'm saying now, which was that almost like in a time of trouble and challenge and a world which is noisy and loud, we need to bring back this energy of compassion and gentleness and love, because it's that that's going to heal us. It's that that's going to heal the world. But we have to believe that that is something that is going to be valued in our society. And do we prize it? Do we prize it? Sorry, my throat is really going. I'm going to press on though. Let's pull some other cards. You can tell it was a good night, can't you? It was a good night. I enjoyed myself. But I'm not used to shouting in that way. Right. Maybe it's linked to the old patriarchal energy as well. It was interesting. One of the reasons I was having to shout was there was a table of about, I don't know, 20 men in front of us, all laid out. And they did warn us when we went into the restaurant, you know, you're going to be beside this group and they're going to be noisy. But we were really hungry and we couldn't find anywhere else. Time was ticking on. So we said, oh, it's fine, we'll be fine. But they were all men, and they were making a bit of a show of themselves, you know, they were being loud. So here's me with a softer voice trying to make myself heard over all of that. And I think there's a message here for the collective and for you watching, which is that, yeah, this is really important, that to try to hold the energy of fifth dimensional unconditional love in a world which sometimes feels as though it's not ready for it. You look around you and you can see the harshness. You know, you can see the harshness, you can see what's wrong, you can see the challenge. It can be very easy to be knocked a little bit and made to feel as though your belief, your consciousness, your way of living your life is either irrelevant, misguided, or wrong. And I'll give you an example of this, which is I've noticed whenever I put up a video which is, let's just say, a little bit controversial in character. The latest one would have been the Boris Johnson video that I did a week or so ago. And he is a controversial character. But I remain neutral because I was able to remain neutral. There are some people I would find very hard to do because I wouldn't be able to remain neutral, so I won't do them. But I was able to do it with Boris, brought through the message from Spirit. And because I work with the energy of the angels, they will always look for the highest perspective in anybody or anything. And they will always bring in the need for us to be tolerant, non-judgmental, when we look at somebody or something that is difficult, that can trigger. And what I've noticed is a theme that seems to happen when we talk about controversial things, is that I have been accused in that video of, oh, you're just spiritually bypassing. You're spiritually bypassing because, you know, you're not wanting to look at the real difficulty that's there. And what I would say to that is it's so far removed from the truth. Because to actually try to hold an energy of love and tolerance and trying to see the highest in anybody or anything, whatever they are. Let's move it away from Boris now. He's just what triggered this particular comment. Is the hardest thing in a world that just wants to point, wants to accuse, wants you to join the gang, basically, of people who just want to condemn. And it actually takes quite a strong, peaceful, gentle warrior to ride these times that we're in. And that's what I think we're being called to do. But be aware that when you do that and you answer something with compassion, tolerance, love, non-judgment, you will be challenged, your words will be manipulated or used back against you, when actually all you're really trying to do is to demonstrate the energy of Christ, who 2,000 years ago told us to love our neighbours as ourselves, with no exception, to turn the other cheek, many other things, wonderful, beautiful things that he said. He was talking about being the gentle warrior. And that message hasn't changed. And so I feel with this Leo energy that we're in August and the Lion's Gate, rather than roaring towards it and powering our way through, like we may have done in the past and we may do again in the future, we're actually being asked, I'm being shown a cat here. It's almost like the lion is really showing itself as a member of the cat family. And cats have that way of slinking, don't they? They've got a very slinking way of being able to move and approach something quite quietly, almost as though you don't know it's there until it's there. Gently does it, with a bit of style, with a bit of grace, with 5D consciousness, with strength. So this is the energy that I'm tuning into, that I feel that we're dipping into this month. That being said, let's pull some cards. Let's pull some cards. So let's just call in Metatron, who is here. And let's ask for a message for you watching. And we'll start with 5 cards, please, Metatron. Card number 1 is the card of the Divine Mind. And it's got the eagle. On the bottom of the pack, I'm going to pull that, is another card number 1. And this one is the card of the Record Keeper. So we've got 2 number 1s. You put 2 number 1s together, and what you get is the pillars of a gateway. Okay, it's the gateway energy, the Lion's Gate. 1-1, number 11. Feels as though the 11th this month is going to be particularly powerful as well. For some reason that I'm not being shown why, but I'm just feeling it is. We've then got the card of strength. Okay, we're being really asked to dip into our reservoir of our own strength, and I'll come back to that in a moment. Let's have 2 more cards. We have the Elementer of Fire. And we have the card which is Beyond. And I also want to take the card on the bottom of the deck, because when I was trying to do this reading yesterday, this card kept coming up all the time. It's the card of Justice. Okay, so let's firstly go to this card of Strength. The card of Strength. There it is. I'll just put it up to the camera. Beautiful orange. You see the embryo attached by the umbilical cord to the lady. You see the number 8. We're in the 8th month, August. The sign of infinity. You see the energy of the sun. You also see the energy of water. What do I want to say about strength this month? I feel as though we're being asked to dig deep. I felt that for a while, but I'm feeling it very strongly now. We're really being asked to dig deep into our own reserves. The tendency when things get tough is to want to reach out to somebody else to sort it out for you. Now, there's a difference between reaching out for support and somebody to listen versus reaching out for somebody to do it for you, to maybe make the decision, as an example. And this month, I'm feeling as though you're being asked to call in your own reserves, because I genuinely can see around me, most of the people that I know, everyone's got a problem. Most people have got problems or challenges at the moment. And so therefore, by asking too much of other people, you're draining their resource to be able to deal with their own stuff. I think it's a very, very gentle, it's a balancing act at the moment. between being there for each other, which is a given, it's what we need to always do, being a good friend, for example, listening, but not overstepping a boundary where you yourself get drained. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a therapist, I'm a teacher. I'm saying it because I really feel it's a message for everybody. There's that old saying, isn't there, which is that everybody has problems, everybody has issues, everybody has challenges in their life. And it's as though if you were in a room of people and everybody had an opportunity to come up for 5 minutes and talk about their problems or what was wrong in their life, what would happen is by the end of everybody having spoken, you would realise that you would be quite happy. Happy maybe isn't the right word. You would choose to have your own problem back rather than take on the others. I remember that being said years ago to me, and it really stayed with me because I really feel it's the truth. We can get very bogged down in our own issues and problems and think that we're the only one going through it. But then you listen to the person down the street, the friend, you know, whatever, the family member, the business partner, whatever it is, and you hear their story and you think, okay, well, would I want to swap places with that person? 9.5 times out of 10, the answer is no. You would take back your own issues, even though they're uncomfortable, even though they're challenging. So it's being very aware that everybody else is going through a tough time at the moment and drawing on this reserve that you have within you, in your core, which is your own strength. Now, interestingly, we've got the card of strength, and you can see here it's highlighting the solar plexus chakra there, the core of our being. And I've got a spray here. I'm going to spray it, but it's actually one that we're trialing at the moment because we have a new, one of the issues I've had is I've had to find a new supplier for the bottles. One of the business problems we've had. We have now found a new supplier, but we're going to be ordering in huge quantities. So, you know, it's a bit of one of those times where it's like, ooh, really got to put my money where my mouth is, really got to believe what I'm doing, which I do. But it's been a bit stressful trying to find this new supplier. Anyway, we're going to be getting new bottles. They're going to look quite similar to what we've already done, but a couple of the colours are going to be changing. And one of the colours that's going to be changing is the colour for the solar plexus and the sacral. So I don't have the new bottle here yet, but what I do have is the new potential oil mix. Okay, so I'm going to spray it because this is potentially the new mix for the solar plexus. And let's just see what we get and what it does for you. Okay, so let me just spray it around myself, sending it to you. I know many of you pick up the fragrance and the power and the energy of these over the waves, as it were. Okay, and we're linking into the crystal citrine, and we're just going to pull your energy and your thoughts and your attention into your solar plexus, the core of your being, the center of your being, your own sun. Your own sun in the center of your being. Really feel into it. And actually, for most people, I'm feeling it feels very diminished. It feels as though it has literally been eclipsed. So what we're needing to do is bring the power of that sun energy back, our I amness, into our center. So as you may have done many times before, but let's do it now together, just start to see that central chakra starting to glow. I'm actually feeling it pulsing. It's as though it wants to pulse, literally wants to pulse. And as it pulses and as it grows, the golden light within it starts to magnify, amplify, and illuminate the rest of your system. Until what I'm being shown is it's as though the center becomes completely golden, And then there is like a golden ray that reaches up to the higher chakras and then reaches down to the lower chakras. So we've got this beautiful central sun in the middle of your being, and then we've also got the golden ray extending up to the Godhead, and the golden ray extending down to Mother Earth and Gaia. And then, very much as the sun does, I'm being shown this beautiful halo effect. And the halo effect effectively is the aura, which just gets filled with this golden sparkling light. Golden sparkling sunlight, linked to the energy of citrine, bringing good fortune, bringing abundance, bringing happiness, bringing vitality, bringing life force back. But it's coming from you. It's not coming from anybody else. It's your own battery. It's your own power force that literally is powering up and igniting and illuminating you with your own light. So it literally is, it's like we're switching on our lights. And Metatron's saying through August, we're ramping up the voltage, okay? It's like we're going from 40 watt to 60 watt. And he's saying you can have it on a little dimmer switch if you want. So if it's too full on to go from 40 to 60, just like that, then gradually do it through the month. Just ramping up that core battery energy within yourself. Okay. Right. And then it's as though you become a bit more like this being, you know, which is like we've got liftoff again. It's like a liftoff type energy. But I'm really feeling, you know, so much of the time, sometimes we look for energy to come from an external source to help us, to lift us. And what's so interesting about Archangel Metatron as a guide is he will always bring you back to yourself, which is that you've actually got the button. You've actually got the power within you. What you have to do right now is remember that it is there, rather than reaching out all the time for somebody else to put it on for you. Other people at the moment are depleted, not just you, okay? So it's as though we've all got to help ourselves a little bit through August. I really feel that. And I don't normally say that, but I do feel that now, okay? So these two ones, let's just see what we've got. We've got the card of the Divine Mind and we've got the Record Keeper. The card of the Divine Mind and the card of the Record Keeper. So this, to me, is linked very strongly into the Akashic Records. Metatron governs the Akashic Records. He is the Record Keeper. He is the one that is able to, he holds the key, and if you ask him and if it's appropriate, he will show you the page that you are on in the Akashic, whether you have completed that. It's interesting that it's underneath the Justice card, weighing up. Have you completed a karmic cycle, as for example? Have you paid your dues? Have you given back? Have you also received? Everything feels as though it's balancing out in this 8th month. And of course it will do, because if you think about number 8, the sign of infinity, you've got the two halves that are constantly wanting that energy of balance to come back. I also feel as though I wanted to say any wrongs are being righted. It feels as though this is a month where wrongs are being righted. And I'm talking personally here as well. I'm not linking into the collective stuff right now. I'm talking personally. So any wrongs start to be righted through this month of August. Also, it feels as though these scales are very much asking you what's out of balance in your life. What is it that needs attention in your life? And these can be the basics. It can be things like, are you getting enough sleep? If you're not getting enough sleep, you need to start to do something about that. Are you getting enough exercise? Are you working too hard, or are you not working enough? Are you playing too hard, or are you not playing enough? Are relationships in balance or out of balance at this time? And it really does feel as though the scales are going to be different for everybody, but it is being brave enough to actually look at what is out of balance this month, draw on that strength, and start to take active steps towards changing what needs to be changed, but not in a like bull in a china shop type way, in that gentle energy of the peaceful warrior. Okay, we've got the energy of the eagle here with the card of the divine mind, and again, I just feel we're being asked to see from a higher perspective what I was talking about earlier. Not everybody is going to be able to see. We've got two cards really that link into vision. Where's that first one gone? The Sphinx, which is the card of vision. And then we've got the card of the divine mind. I know it mentions mind and analytical thoughts and all the rest of it, but the eagle also has those eyes, the eyes that see everything. Not everybody can see what you can see. Not everybody can understand things as you can understand them. Not everybody has the consciousness that you've got. And that's okay. You know, at the end of the day, does this bird here, if you look at the bird and you look at its eyes, does that bird look like it's about to be thrown off course? You know, that it's going to be distracted by something else? It's got its eye very firmly focused on what it can see, and it doesn't doubt what it can see. Same with the Sphinx. It's looking out. It's seeing something that you cannot see on the ground. So it's this thing about raise your eyes, you know, raise your eyes from looking down at the floor and look up, you know, look up. What are you being asked to look at this month feels very key to me. And it does, for some people, seem to be linked into karma, linked into karmic relationships. They need to be drawing on strength for that, asking for healing on that as well. What else is coming up? Let's just pull another couple of cards from another deck. Got the After Tarot cards here as well. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them on top of these other cards. So there's one that's flipped out and fallen on top of the Strength card. Let's see what that is. It's the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles shows a lady in a garden, okay? And to me that is saying that hard work is going to be rewarded, that you have put work and energy into getting to where you are now, and that for many people watching, you're actually in a position of strength because of past endeavours. It's as though you're reaping the harvest. You're strong enough to be able to take a step back, to take some time off, to do something different. Let's see what else we get. What card do we get with the Seven of Stones? That card of vision. Let's see what we get. Oh, okay. We get the Hanged Man. That's interesting. And that makes complete sense. So the Hanged Man with the Seven of Stones, which is the card of vision, that is saying that there is something that you are not seeing properly at the moment. You're being asked to take a different perspective on something, to view something from a different perspective. Now, again, this is your personal life. There's something that needs to be looked at in a different way. And it is a higher way, okay? So it's not, and this is, I'm aware that so many people watch these videos and there's going to be so many different connotations to what this can be. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that, that there's something that you've been trying to work out, something that you've been trying to solve, and you're not going to be able to solve it via old ways of looking. You're going to have to be looking in different places. What does that mean? Going to have to be looking in different places. I have one more card. You're going to have to see beyond what you've seen before. We've got the card of Beyond. The Ten of Pentacles. Okay, to me, this is linked into when we feel very bogged down in life, we can get very fixated on what's wrong and what the problem is. And we tend to forget what we've actually got, which is good in our life. I've had this recently, to be honest, with somebody, and I was so fixated on what they were doing wrong, or where they'd hurt me, or where they weren't there for me, that I was forgetting the good aspects of this person's spirit. That's what I'm feeling this 10 of Pentacles is showing. It's showing a chest that is overflowing. Sometimes it's linked into inheritance, but to me it's about reminding you of what you actually do have that's good, rather than focusing on what you don't have. It's such an easy trap to fall into, isn't it? When you have problems in life, you can get very tunnel visioned, actually. Interesting, we've got this hawk who's very tunnel visioned. You can get very tunnel visioned, but in the wrong way, in terms of just thinking about what's wrong, what's causing me pain, what doesn't work, rather than remembering what is right, what brings me joy, what I do have, what I have been able to achieve, what does still work, what does still have opportunity, what does have potential, where I am loved, where I am appreciated. It's that type of energy. So I think for many people, it's as though we've been looking almost we've been looking for the answers in the wrong place, because we've been too fixated on the problem. And when you're too fixated on the problem, the solutions don't come. You have to raise your vibration, and one of the easiest ways to raise your vibration is through gratitude for what you already have. Okay, let's have another card. Let's see what goes with the card of justice, shall we? Let's have some water. My poor old throat. But you see, even in that statement, I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. It's just my throat's going because I was shouting so much. But actually, what a great night I had. You know, it was worth it. See how instantly that changes the whole vibration, rather than just thinking, oh my God, my voice is sore, you know, I shouldn't have been shouting, rather than thinking, I had a great time. It was great. Right, card of justice. Let's have one card here, please, Metatron. That one, the Knight of Pentacles. So this is slow, steady progress. Slow, steady progress wins the day. Okay, with the card of justice, balancing everything up. This is not a time for quick fix, okay? As an example, you know, I'm going to use the diet thing, because, you know, I'm always on a diet like most women. So this is not the month to go and do something really, you know, give me a quick fast remedy to lose a stone in a week. You know, that's ridiculous. That's not going to work. And even if you lost it, you put it all back on again quite easily. This would be, if you're trying to lose weight, as an example, well, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight at the moment, it would be, actually, there is no quick fix. What it is slow and steady progress. Sort your diet out, get to the gym more often, you know, etc. That's the type of thing. Slow and steady wins the race. Again, slow and steady, graceful, gentle. It's the powerful warrior, but not doing it in a really sort of gung-ho way. There's too many people out there at the moment doing life in a gung-ho way. It's exhausting. Done with that. Right, the record keeper. Let's see what we get with the record keeper. That card is also very symptomatic of the need to, or not the need, but the pull to visit beautiful spiritual portal places. Okay, so wherever you are located in the world, that place near you that feels, where you feel really connected to God, you feel really connected to spirit, you feel really connected to yourself as well. That's important, because this message here about tuning into your own strength, you can only do that if you're in an environment that feels comfortable to you. It's been really interesting being in Leeds because I used to live up here. I was up in Yorkshire for, oh God, I don't know, 12 years maybe. I went to school up here, and so it's like my second home. even though I'm a southerner. I have my northern roots. I've still got family up here. And walking around Leeds these last couple of days, it's been really lovely, because I've really felt my ancestors with me. You know, all my family all came from up here, my dad's family anyway. And I feel at home here. I feel really at home here. And if you feel at home somewhere, you're more able to tune into yourself and how you feel, and heal and integrate and be present. When you're somewhere which feels just not right for you, it's very hard to draw your strength sometimes. So, I mean, of course you can, you know, straight away I go to the completely, you know, extreme end of the spectrum, which is I'm seeing somebody, I'm actually seeing Terry Waite, you know, who's a real hero of mine, who was held captive for years in solitary confinement in the Middle East. And of course he wasn't in a place where he felt comfortable, and he drew on his strength and he survived, and what an amazing man. But most of us never have to have that experience, okay? Most of it, what I'm talking about here is the day-to-day stuff. So, you know, maybe there's a lake, maybe there's a mountain, maybe there's a park, maybe there's a building, maybe there's a restaurant, maybe wherever it is, there's a place which you just feel at home, you feel comfortable. Go there, okay? Spend some time there this August. I'm also hearing there might be somebody, well, there is somebody that you feel more at home with. And if that is the case, you need to be near them. You need to reach out to them. You need to be with them. So, yeah, go where you feel at home. This thing about home. Right. What was the question? I think I was pulling a card on the record keeper, wasn't I? Yeah. Okay. God. Card on the record keeper. Clarification, please, Metatron, for the record keeper card. Any other message? The teacher, the Hierophant. Yeah, okay. So there's something to be learnt from going to sacred places, from going to places where you feel at home, okay? Whether it's Leeds city centre, whether it's Machu Picchu, whether it's Glastonbury, Stonehenge, whatever it is, wherever you are around the world, there's something you're meant to learn. I also feel that card of the teacher is coming through because we are in an intense period of learning, and the universe is teaching us. You know, it's as though we've all signed up for a bit of a masterclass this year, the last few months in particular. And some of us are sort of like sitting in the class and it's like, oh God, why did I sign up for this? You know, when does the lesson end, please? You know, how many of us can relate to that? When does the lesson end? You know, yeah, quite interesting. Right, you've stirred me up really well here. Okay, I'm feeling it. I'm really feeling it. When does the class end, please? I can go back to my normal life. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, you're in the lesson for a reason. Whatever's going on, you are learning something from this process. And it's painful and it's difficult sometimes. Hopefully not for everybody, but for a lot of us it is. I feel raw right now. I really do. It's like I feel raw. My emotions feel raw. But the thing about feeling raw is that you feel alive. You know, there's no pretense. You know, I wasn't going to come online today and do this video and be sort of like, oh, not happy. I mean, I am happy, but you know, my energy is what my energy is today. And I feel tired, I feel raw, I feel very vulnerable. But I'm okay, I'm still standing. I quite like to have that record playing now. You know, that Elton John, I'm Still Standing, that should be our theme tune at the moment. We're learning something through all of this. We're learning something. And it will be, thank you Metatron for that confirmation. I will just say, it's quite interesting. Something's just come up as a news flash. I don't know why I keep getting these news flashes, but it's talking about, let me just read it. Once hunted to near extinction, the North Atlantic right whales are again under threat. Some people risk their lives to save them. Now that's interesting because the whales are the record keepers, okay? The whales are the record keepers. We've got the record keeper card that I'm talking about right now. So we've got the whale energy coming in. It's almost as though Spirit is saying whatever is going on in your life right now. We see it. We see it. We love you. We support you. We can't necessarily step in and wave the magic wand and solve it for you, but you are learning through this experience, and everything is being recorded in the Akashic record, okay? So try as much as you can. You're human. You're going to fall down. I fall down. In terms of the high standards we set for ourselves, but try to be the best version of yourself that you can be at this moment in time, okay? It's a time of great teaching, and the classroom door will be opened when teacher says it's over. And who's teacher? Teacher's God, teacher's the universe, okay? And you're a child of that universe, and you've asked to be in this classroom at this time, with everything that's going on in your personal life right now, and everything that's going on in the wider world. And what Metatron is saying is, he knows I don't like this analogy, and there's a reason for that. I don't really like streaming in schools. I'll tell you why in a moment. But he's saying it's like you've been streamed according to your ability, and so therefore you're able to do this. You're able to pass the exam, the test, whatever it is. Not that life has to be a test, but you're there. You're able to do it. I will just quickly say why I don't like his analogy there, and he knows this, but he's saying, well, it's not just about me. I know it's not about me. I was great when I was 11. Funny in the hay, 11. I went up, was it 11? Yeah, it was about 11. Anyway, secondary school, and I was behind in maths. I've said this story a few times. I was behind in maths and French, and they put me into the remedial stream, which is the stream for people who literally can't even read or write. And I shouldn't have been there. I didn't have that sort of learning difficulty, and it was one of the most horrendous experiences of my life because I knew I shouldn't be there. And anyway, fortunately, fate stepped in, and my family were moved up to Yorkshire, which is where I am now. And I went to the school there. They actually dropped me down a year because I was the youngest in my year, which is why I was struggling so much. And then I became the oldest in my year. And as soon as I was in the right year for me, actually, the right year, I flourished. I never looked back. I went on. I did very well at school and university. But it's that. So, okay, I did need to tell the story, didn't I? Okay, I understand Metatron, because he's saying that's what he was trying to say. When you're in the right class for you, you will excel, because there's no reason why you can't not excel. Yeah, does that make sense? Makes sense to me. So we're in the classroom that we're meant to be in, okay? And teacher is God, okay? And teacher is in control of the lesson. He's also able to see, she is able to see who's struggling, who needs a bit of support. But the guidance from teacher at the moment is draw on your own strength. Come on now, you know? We're teaching empowerment. You can do this. You can do this. I'm here, I'm watching. I'm there if you really need me, but really this is a case of digging into your own strength this month, because you can do it. I want to pull another card to go with this card of the Divine Mind. I feel there's another message with regard to that one. So let's just pull one more. So the card of the Divine Mind. It's interesting, I will just say this. I'm having a really nice time up here, and I'm really enjoying seeing my dad, which is the whole purpose of coming, visiting him in hospital. But I've got this real strong pull today, which I'm just acknowledging, which is that I feel like I just want to get home as quickly as I can, almost to the point where I want to change my flight. I'm due to fly really late tomorrow evening, and I'm like, can I get an earlier flight? And I'm sitting with it, and I'm thinking, why are you wanting to run back? And it's that typical Cancerian thing, actually, of like running back to home because it feels safe. It's comfort zone. So for some reason, I feel out of comfort zone. But message is, you're where you're meant to be at the moment. Don't run home. Be where you are. Let's have one more card. Card of the Divine Mind. Okay, Metatron's saying, because there's a message there with regard to that thing about me just saying I wanted to run home. He's saying because you can make home anywhere, okay? You can feel at home anywhere if you're at home within yourself. I had an experience on the plane flying up here. It was a really tiny little plane. It was like a toothpaste tube. And I was in one of the seats, which is just one single row. And sitting in front of me was a man, I don't know, oh God, how old was he? Maybe late 30s, maybe 40. Gorgeous looking guy. And he had, I think he might have had cerebral palsy. I'm not an expert on, you know, conditions people have, but it was that condition where he had no control of his limbs, basically. So he was in the seat in front of me and he was constantly moving his arms, his legs. It didn't bother me at all, but I was noticing his energy. I was trying not to invade his personal space, but it's very hard because you're literally right up against them, aren't you? In aeroplanes, that tiny. But what I was noticing about him was A, how crystalline and pure his aura was. It was beautiful. It was so clear. He probably had the clearest aura of anybody else on that plane, including me. He had a beautiful aura, very, very clear. But also, even though he couldn't control his body, it was doing whatever it needed to do. What I felt was he was almost the person who was most present in his body. He was fully there. He was fully there. He was fully engaged. And he was the person probably on the plane who had the biggest difficulty with his body. But yet he owned that space. It was really beautiful. It taught me something just sitting with him. And because I'm a healer and it's what I do, even though I try not to let my energy go to everybody that's out there, because I was sat behind him for a whole hour and he was in my personal space because the seats were so near to each other, there was a moment where I thought, well, shall I send him some healing? And straight away Metatron's like, you know, he doesn't need any healing. He's fine. He's fine. Look at him. He's fine. Look at him, Amanda. And I thought, right, yeah, you're right, Metatron. Actually, this was for me to look at him in his body, even though on the outside he wasn't in control of his body, but he was in his body and he was at home in it. It was profound. Right, last card, and then I better get on with my day. Let's have a card that links to the divine mind, that eagle card, one of feathers. The Hermit. Yeah, you see, again, you wouldn't expect to see the Hermit card. I wouldn't, really. And look, on the bottom of the pack, the Four of Swords. How perfect is that? To me, rightly or wrongly, the Leo energy, August has been a time for going out. You know, it's a time we go on holiday, we party. It's, you know, life and soul of the party type energy. You know, it is, you know Leos, I know Leos. They're great fun. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling the Hermit. Go within. Feel at home within. Seek your own counsel. Find your own inner strength. The Four of Swords is the card of rest and recuperation. You're tired. Maybe not all of you are tired, but a percentage of you are. Anything else to say on that? Be at peace with that. Don't fight it. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. The world isn't going to stop turning just because you take a little bit of time out for you. You maybe say no to a few things. You conserve your own energy. You do what you want to do. It feels a very insular, private, sacred month. I'm going to call it, it feels the complete opposite of what it normally feels like in August. Lionsgate, you know? Those of you that have watched me for years, you know I turn up every year, Lionsgate, we still will. But there's a different energy this year. There just is. And, well, what's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that. What Metatron has always taught me, always taught me, he's been my guide since 2005 consciously. He has always taught me, shake it up. And what he means by that is look at things differently. Shake up the way that you used to do it. Do it in a different way. I think that's what is happening here with this August. It's like, it's not going to be what you expect it to be. It's different this year. Interesting, it's different this year. Do it differently. So, let's pull one card from this deck. I haven't got my Metatron cards with me. I'm going to do a special video for you when I'm back home at some point in August with them, because I know they're rolling out now in America and Canada in particular. People who ordered via Booktopia and Schiffer publisher, and particularly you've already got them, so I'm getting some great feedback. And anybody else in other countries, they're coming, they're coming. But this is a deck I bought yesterday in the crystal shop called the Enchanted Tarot. I don't know it at all, so I'm just going to pick one. They're very, very big cards. They're very hard to shuffle. So I'm just doing my best here. I'm just going to pick one, see where I want to go. I'm going to go to that one. The Prince of Swords. The Prince of Swords. So, what do we want to say about this? Well, there's our warrior, actually. There's our warrior. That's our gentle warrior. On his horse, dressed in blue. Look at those lovely colours, aren't they gorgeous? Blue, violet. He's even got a dove of peace underneath. Interesting. Dove of peace in the pyramid. The tetrahedron, which is pyramid shaped, is the platonic solid that is linked to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is linked to the energy of fire. What have we been talking about this video? We've been talking about the energy of the solar plexus and fire. August, Leo season. This pyramid isn't got red flames in it. It's got blue and it's got the dove of peace. I think that's quite a nice confirmation for me anyway, that we're meant to centre ourselves in this gentle, compassionate, non-judgmental, loving energy this month. There's enough fire around out there in the collective, let's be honest, okay? There's enough fire out there in the collective. There's enough fire out there in terms of what Gaia is doing, bubbling up. We need to hold this. So that's quite a nice thing as well. So you've already imagined the sun energy within your being, pulsing with radiant heat, illuminating. But I also feel it might be nice to imagine the dove of peace within the centre of your being as well, and the blue energy. It's almost as though we've got the moon and the sun trying to balance themselves out at this time. I think I mentioned that last month, didn't I? The moon and the sun, the energies of the two. Going back to this card, so bring in that dove of peace whenever you need it. And I want to say she, feels as though the dove of peace is a she. She is going to help you to maintain your equilibrium, keep moving forward, but moving forward in a direct way, but in a graceful, gentle way. I hope that helps, guys. I'll be back soon when I'm back home. Much love to everybody. Take care of yourselves and see you all soon. Bye for now. Love you all. Bye.